So the reverse camera, we just mounted it here. I've used the double-sided tape. I can get this to focus, sorry. On the garnish on the back here, I've run the cable. There's a hole here. When I wrapped it, I just covered over that hole because it's not used for anything on this car. So I snaked the cable in through the hole, and that's all covered now. And then I've come in through the hole in the back. There's a little rubber grommet there, which the cable goes through for the boot release. And then I've run it in through the housing there in the back of the skin, and brought it out through here. So it's going to run cable tied down with those other cables in through the tailgate trim, where it comes up to here, drops in through into this rubber grommet, runs through here, and then from there I can either go through the roof lining up to the front, or pop down this C-pillar trim in the back here. So because I'm doing a dash cam as well, so the dash cam is going to mount up here for the front and rear cameras. So I've got the rear camera's going to mount here, so I'm going to run that cable through the roof lining to the front dash cam, which is not installed at the moment, but I've got that front light out, which also gave me easy access to the antenna for when I wrap the roof. So I'm just going to run the cable for the reverse camera as well through there, and then I'll drop down through one of the A-pillar trims when I run the microphone cable. So there's not much point in going through all the rest of the stuff if I don't have to. Alrighty, I'll show you the cable getting pulled through. Okay, so I'm going to run this cable through here. So it's worth noting that I haven't done anything with this yet. It's already hanging down. So there's a notch out. I don't know what that's for. Could have been someone else's dodgy installation at some point. You can see that, oh yeah, here we go. Look. I've got cables sitting in there cut off. So not sure what the story is with that. That's all right. So I'm going to run through here. I'll push this cable, this yellow tongue through, sorry, the red tongue. It's going to go all the way up to the front. All going well. We can now pop around and slide it up here. So put my hand up there, feel it. There we go. So pretty simple. It's in through the roof space and it's coming out the back. So we're going to run the cable from front to back. So this is the cable for the dash cam, and this is the cable for the reverse camera. So I'm going to run the two together. Okay, got them taped on. So I've got the dash cam one taped on to the rear view camera. So I'm just going to push it slack up and then pop up the back. Carefully pull this out. So, yeah, sometimes if it gets stuck like that, you can push it in a bit and flip it over. Might not go one way, might go the other way better. There we go. That's it. So we'll pull out what slack we need. And we've got the cable hanging out the front there. So it's easy to pull back slack. So make sure you've got plenty here, and we can get it through. So we're going to pop this out of here. Okay, so we've got our hole there. just untape these cables. So I've got this cable through here. You could actually, if you wanted to, because this is actually a pretty big hole, you could have fed your snake from here straight to the front instead of going through here. Probably safer for your hood lining. If you have a look in through here, I can snake it around. Just inside here. Here's our cable. Alright, so make sure that when you're pulling it through you don't do something silly like looping this around something or whatever, because then you'll have to pull it back out. Alright, so I've got plenty of slack there for my dash cam, and I'm going to need another probably 1.5 meters to come up here, along here, and along here, and around up to here to where my reverse camera is going to go. Alright, so this other cable that was cut off in there, I'm not sure what that's for, but it looks like it might have been added on afterwards here. So that's the same cable. You can see it pulling through there. But yeah, it's a bit of an odd one. Not sure what the story is with that. Because the rest of the loom actually looks pretty solid. So if I can find something else, that's the reason why that's cut off. Anyway, so pull this out here. Feeding through here can be very difficult. You've got a fair size loom here as it is, and there's obviously not super massive room in there. Pass through all these corrugations and convolutions. So easiest thing is to push it in a bit, bunch these convolutions or corrugations up, pinch it, pull it through, bunch them up, pinch it, pull it through, bunch it up, pinch it, pull it through, so on and so forth until you get it all the way to the end. And then you can carefully pull the slack through. If it looks tight like this, I think I might use a bit of cable lubricant. You can just use dish soap, that's all fine. Even silicone spray, something like that, that takes off the friction, gives a bit of lubricant to the cable, and removes the friction between the cable and everything, so it'll slip through significantly easier. Okay, I couldn't hold the phone and do everything at the same time, but yeah, I couldn't feed the fat end in straight through. So what I actually did was fed in basically a loop of the cable. I pushed the dash cam cable through with that other cable pulled back, and then drag that back through, because obviously it's easier to pull that through than what it is trying to get these sharp edges through all the time. Alright, so just little tips like that can make a big difference. Now we've got that through, we can pull the slack up, alright, and get it through the tailgate. Okay, so my reverse camera, I've got our video cable wired up through here. I'm just going to tape these up into place. So put a bit of tape on there. You could use cable ties if you want. Same up here. I've snaked it around that loom as it goes around, so that it holds up regardless of the tape. This little fella here, we can connect that to the reverse output at the front, and then that can be the reverse up here. So we can connect our power to that. So I'll join the power there and then put a lug on the earth and put a screw up in here. I don't think there's any bolts close, but anyway, so we'll put a screw up into the tailgate, so that'll earth the camera out, because we need reverse power and negative ground to turn the camera on and operate the camera to get the video signal out. Okay, just a quick one on the join. So I've stripped both ends of the cable, I've laid them across each other and twisted both ways. Okay, so there's a bit of strength in that joint regardless. Now I have one of these little solder connectors, so you run it through. See if I can get this to focus, sorry. So you run it over, make sure it's insulated both sides. The little silver bit in the middle is solder, so you heat that up and then that'll heat the wire inside and melt into a solder connection, and also shrink the heat shrink. So see if I can do this. Bit too much heat, but you get the gist. So you would have seen it, the solder melting through. So we've actually got quite a solid join. It should be a solid and insulated join, but I was too busy looking at the phone and not paying attention to what I was doing. So I'll redo it, but that gives you an idea of what's going on anyway. So the other one's just going to be, oh fuck, that's what. The other one's just going to be a ring terminal, and then we'll screw that to the boot frame. Okay, so another thing I do is tape up all the joins, any push together joins, tape them up so they can't rattle loose one way or another, and also put a bit of tape on either side so that they have no slack on the terminations. All right, we've got our positive done. I've put a bit of tape around that and taped it back so that it holds the junction. Got our negative on there, so that's all good to go. We've run it down, I've taped it in multiple places around here. We've pulled the slack back and put that boot back up. Need to push this boot back in, and then that slack can get pulled back to the front, and all the trims can go back on up here. So that was my main objective for today, was to be able to get all these trims back on, so that at least the boot and the back half of the car's done, complete. So from there, we've tucked this video cable up into the top of the roof lining, and then it's coming down the A-pillar, sorry. And we're going to duck across through under the dash here and come out to the stereo. So pretty simple. Just make sure that when you're running it through, you're not running where the handle for the steering wheel adjustment is, or where the knuckles for the steering column are, and that sort of thing. So there's no moving parts that you're going over, and always tie it up to make sure it's out of the way. And obviously reverse cameras all working and everything's done.